Hello, everybody. My name is D'Artagnan Stanley. I'm part of Team Neptune Shark. So let's get started. Let me show you the tasks that I've been working on. This month, I was doing, the game testing mechanics and play testing. I was only able to get, what is this? Five, 6 in. And the first one, I kind of did videos for them too, so I could show the team. Sorry, let me pull this over a little bit more. Show the team, the mechanic. This, I originally put 3 hours, but this is right here. And I put repeat the steps to get to it right here. And we could watch a little video of the error that I was talking about. As you can see right there, you click it. So let's go into the game and see. My team's usually good about fixing stuff. So let's go over here. Get this out the way. Let me go bring this down right here and load up the video. Hold up. As you can see right here, I am clicking it and nothing has happened. So obviously they fixed that. I don't know if that's loud on your end, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down right here. Make sure it's not loud on your end. Okay. The next task. The next task was the gliding ability. As you can see right here, I'm not a big talker. As you can see right here, I did a summary of it. You left click, hold the button, and the player is able to fly through the map and get to the boss to repeat the steps, start the game, first level, play test. That was going to be the questionnaires I asked the play testers and everything. And this one took a little bit more time because me and the team was going kind of back and forth about if the players should lose stamina fast, how we should balance it, and everything. So it took a little bit longer. I got also too another video of it. As you can see, the player could non-stop fly through the level. Without touching anything. He just go all the way to the boss if he wanted to. Without having no kind of give or take, any kind of progression. And knowing it's my team game, I kind of got lost in there too. But I just told him how long you could just fly around, and I think we should have did something else. But this video is kind of long. Let me go back. Oops, sorry. Exit out of here. Yeah, this video is kind of long. So let's go ahead, press start. They kind of went with going ahead and just leave it in there. I'm kind of looking at the level. As you can see, the bar kind of goes a little bit down a little bit faster. But for some reason I got stuck, as I was previously telling them, on the game. So that's kind of loud on my end. Let me just kind of turn it down on my side real quick. Okay. Let's resume. I guess they kind of slowed it down for a little bit. But they still didn't take out the little thing. Let's go back to the beginning, because it looks like somebody did something new that I didn't know about. Maybe. Sorry. Okay. Looks like somebody did something new. Sorry again. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. The value. I kind of told them the steps that is not kind of saving as you at the beginning of the game, and as you get into the game, the settings are not the same. It never saves. This took about 3 hours, because I tested it before. He fixed it. He tested it again. It still wasn't fixed. And he was kind of trying to figure it out. And we was going through brainstorming to figure it out. Eventually, we came up with it and we figured it out. It took a couple of days to do that one. So let's go back over here. Let's open up the value. Let's do it right here. Go back. Let's play test the game again. Now, let's go to pause. Go to the, we kind of didn't fix it. We're kind of like having an issue with that one. Still on the game. So even when you press the settings, it's not working. So that was a big disaster. Oops, sorry. No. Sorry. Kind of got off of work right now. So that was that one that we was working on. Obviously, we're still working on it. We need to put some more time into it, because people are going to want their value. The dive test. Now this one took the same thing, took more time, but it kind of didn't. Dive attack. I kind of didn't think nobody got back to me on that, on a dive attack. Yeah, I kind of did that one. but I didn't write no steps. I guess I forgot my notes. Brain freeze. Yeah, but that also took a couple of days for us to do. Sorry, I kind of. Oh, I guess we decided to take the dive attack out. Because I guess they couldn't fix it. Sorry for wasting your time. On this one, let's go back to the main menu. Sorry. Let's go back to the main menu. So I guess we decided to take the dive attack out because we couldn't get it operationable. So let me drag my other side down here to you again. So that one was the dive attack was no. This one right here was the Bobcat. Oops. Sorry. This right here was the Bobcat. Slide this over for you. Sorry, my computer's kind of acting stupid. So this one also too was a couple of days. So every day I at least tested it for at least an hour just to make sure it was working right. And as you can see right here, the Bobcat's AI obviously groups up together. And as soon as it breaks eye contact with the AI Bobcat, all of them go to the exact same tree and climb it up. And I put it as a high because it breaks the illusion of the game. And the steps that you must take to redo it, break eye contact, and all the Bobcats was just climb up the nearest tree together. And I kind of did a video on it for my teammates. So this is the older version. That's kind of flying around. So I broke eye contact, and here comes all the Bobcats. They're all trying to climb up the tree. Here comes another one. They're all trying to climb up the same tree, and they don't return back to the patrol state. That's kind of else what I was kind of saying to my team. So yeah, we kind of spent some time on that one. So let's see if they fixed it in the game. I'm sorry that I keep restarting it. I don't know what happened. I guess my team has a bug in there. Oh wow. They kind of did something right here. Okay, that was kind of weird. Those are the wolves. Alright, real quick for the wolves, because I actually designed the wolves to hunt in packs. What they usually do. Just make sure they don't get eye contact with me. And kind of tell them about that strip sling. So I guess my team, sorry about that, decided to take the bobcats out because they couldn't get them to work. I guess the owl is still not working. The great owl is not working. Sorry about that. But that is one of the errors I already told the guys about. That this will happen. And for some reason, when you die, it doesn't come back. And it froze up on me. Give me a second. Sorry about that. I had to go out of there because it got a glitch in it, I guess. It wasn't doing that before. I think when somebody did the update. But yeah, this is the time we went back and forth on the bobcat. I was really trying to show you the bobcat. Yeah, let's give it another go. For some reason, it's got a lot of errors. For some reason, now I'm not getting stuck at this level if I stay all the way to the side. Sorry, that's a little bit loud. I can't really hear. Now let's find a bobcat and hope I don't get attacked by the owl, greyhound owl again. So I guess they decided to take the there he is. So I guess they didn't fix the greyhound owl or the bobcat. The bobcat's doing a little bit better now. It's not going up the trees after you break eye contact with it. But that was that one. And sorry about that. And the next one was the greyhound owl. I kind of told them me and Eric was going back and forth trying to figure this out. Eric was going back and forth. My bad. Eric was going back and forth. We was talking about the greyhound owl. I was trying to give him more clarification on what I was talking about. How the greyhound owl just sticks to the player, like even if he tries to get away and everything, it automatically just knocks him out the air. The greyhound owl gets stuck in the air, and the steps that I did, and I even posted a video for him so he can understand what I was talking about. This is one of our test levels right here. And it's just right here trying to show him, like, it just keeps attacking. It doesn't give no give or anything. So I kept going through testing it, seeing what the greyhound owl could do. Now here's where I tested to see if the greyhound owl flies and knocks him down. As I'm trying to get away, as you can see, they get stuck in the air. They don't go back on patrol. They don't do nothing. They knock you out the air. So I went back and tested again. So you could get a little bit of more clarification on what's going on. But I could just see in the level, it was kind of still whooping on me. But yeah, this took about 3 hours because he kept fixing it and I kept testing it, and I posted these. I only had one video that I posted because we was trying to do crunch time. So we was kind of having a hard time understanding what I was saying. So that's why I posted videos for my teammates on what was going on. But let's see if he fixed it. Still got for some reason there's a force field right there that slows me down. That was weird. Oh crap. Yeah, they still don't give no give. Yeah, they kind of still do the same thing. And they break the game. Obviously. I don't have no control over it. That's crazy. They break the game every time. Okay, let's bring this down. What other tasks did I do? Pretty much that's all the tasks that I did for this sprint. Hopefully next sprint I can show you the progress that I did on the snake and everything. My team decided not to use it for this sprint. We took it out. But my name is D'Artagnan Stanley, and thank you for your time.
This is Eric Cameron from Bravebird Studios, aka Team Neptune Shark. I will be going over my tasks done on Jira this week. Please keep in mind that many of the bugs found throughout the week are in different versions of the project. I will be opening them from here. It will contain a mixture of these versions here. Also keep in mind that I will not be showcasing a particular bug fix because it is still in the works, and that is controls on the option menu to set volume levels do not save correctly. That will not be showcased in this video. So starting at the top of my tasks, we have, as a player, I want to fight a great horned owl. The great horned owl can fly around the level and attack the player. They should be able to catch the player and knock them down, removing control from the player for the duration. Expected behaviors include, if the owl hasn't seen the player, it should patrol, it should see the player, should chase the player in the air, should attack the player, deal 30 damage to the player, knock the player down, disabling the input for 2 seconds, wait after attacking the player for 4 seconds plus or minus 0.3 seconds as a variable, resume attacking the player if seen, has a starting health of 100, should receive damage, and if health reaches 0, should despawn. Tasks for this, as subtasks, create a temporary model for the great horned owl, create a behavior tree for the owl, add and adjust movement for the owl. Create the ability to attack the player if the owl catches the player. Knock the player down and disable input for 2 seconds. Create the ability for the owl to patrol a certain area. Allow the player to be able to damage the owl and despawn on death, and add the owl to the BP enemy spawner. Showcasing this from our most recent build, version 1.7. I'm going to showcase this in the toy box level because due to the nature of our game being mostly randomized for the predator and prey, it's just easier to showcase it this way. Okay, into the great horned owl. So we obviously can see because it flew at me. So it is flying. It saw me and went towards me again. As you see, it just knocked me down for 2 seconds and dealt 30 damage. Saw me again. Fortunately, I'm getting stuck in a temporary asset there that should not be active at the moment. Going back to the owl, so we've showcased that it does deal damage, 30 damage as expected. It does knock the player down. It does see the player. It does chase the player. Again, last thing to showcase is it should, while not seeing the player, should patrol around. I believe that one's out of the nav mesh, so we're going to observe that one's behavior. There we go. It's patrolling around. So we're going to next show that we can damage the player. I'm currently not. There we go. Alright, and just to make sure the values are correct, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. The player does 25 damage. That's 100, so the health is adding correctly. So that is that mechanic showcased. All things happening as expected. For my next showcase, this will be for the second half of the sprint, which I did level design. As a player, I want to explore a snowy forest that includes a road passing through with cars that drive on it periodically. Level should include periodic cars that can damage the player if hit by them. There should be snow and give the impression that the level takes place in the wintertime. I do have confluence diagrams to go over for this as well. So we're going to create a landscape for the base level, establish the appropriate size for the level, add a POI for the road passing through the center of the level, create a car that passes through the level on the road every 25 to 60 seconds, create a functionality for the car that damage the player if they collide, create a POI for campsite multiple plots, create a POI for a forgotten graveyard, create a barrier around the level to prevent the player from escaping, and create a POI for a clearing to house the boss fight. Looking at our confluence pages, we have the bubble chart here showcasing all of the different areas here. Player start with the surrounding forest. These are connecting areas to go to each of the POIs. We have a forgotten graveyard over here, which contains many predators and 1 special prey. We have our campsite here. Ended up going with 2 campsites rather than 3. So we have 1, 2 right here. They contain multiple plots with tents, cars, and campfires. We have the road POI with cars that pass through. And the boss cave, which has switched to a log cabin. Going to the flowchart, I'll go over this as we go through the level. So let's load back up version 17. To winter campsite. I'm going to reduce volume. Okay, so as we start, and the players start, and this should be spawns in the forest just outside the campsite. Player can see the glow from the fires of the campsite, streetlights that line the road, and the cave in the far distance. So obviously we want to see a cave, and things did change a bit, but if you angle yourself just right, you can see the log cabin off in the distance here. But we can see immediately the first campsite, we can see the road, and there's a street light there. We'll see other street lights as we pass through. That's the player start. Moving into the forest. The forest has most of the prey to be found in the level and covers most of the level. This area serves to connect all other areas. So I will fly up to showcase the forest area. You see lots and lots of forest. So this is to serve as cover, as well as connecting areas between the POIs. So I'm going to take myself over here before we talk about the very first POI. So we have campsite. This contains multiple campsites that have a variety of prey to consume. Also contains prowling predators. Contains fires, tents, and signs of human contact. So again, with the random nature of our game, doesn't look like we had. Oh, we do have a cave that spawned over there. So we have that, and then we have all of our signs of human life here. We have tents, cars, fire, chairs. We have a little area in the center here as a restroom. We have some lights, different campsites with different variations of people, and we have some bear-proof containers on the road leading outward into the road, or the main road. And here is New Forest Campsite Alpha. Please place trash and bear-proof containers. Moving across the road here, pause again. Next we have the road. This location cuts through the center of the map. A car will spawn every minute, which again is changed to 25 to 60 seconds on random. If to drive down the road. If the player gets hit by the car, they will die instantly. So we will showcase that. We're on the road now. The cars will spawn from either side. They'll spawn from either here or the other side. And there's one coming now. So we're going to get in its way to showcase that the car will indeed kill the player once they get hit. And boom, dead. Okay. Next we have the Forgotten Graveyard. This location has a static spawned prey, Little Brown Myotis, that gives the player an ability. There are many predators here to challenge the player. So for the Forgotten Graveyard, I wanted this to be kind of like a secret area. There are plenty of leading lines to go in that direction, so we have all these down trees leading towards this pathway over here. It's not immediately in the view, especially with the player spawning and looking this way, so they're going to naturally be drawn to that. But one way they can tell that this exists is this pathway here that's kind of overgrown, and then we have a light showing from the other side that makes it more obvious for the player. From the roadside, you see that we do have a little pathway here. If the player is observant, they will see that there's a down sign that says Colonial Age Cemetery. If we go into here, into the graveyard proper, you have some predators, some crows that are going to throw themselves at you. Some more predators on the ground here, and then we have the Little Brown Myotis. Now this Little Brown Myotis will give a random ability once you defeat it. So it must have given me one, and yep. So we can see now on the bottom left we have grayed out abilities, but now when we lock on as it switches our combat modes, we now have this ability, which is a bomb. So we have that, so that works as intended. And then section 6 is continued forest, so we're going to go to the other side and showcase the other campsite as well as the rest of the forest. Passing over the road, we have some more leading lines into the other campsite here. We have New Forest Campsite Bravo. And moving into here, we have the second campsite. So very similar to the other one, just different variations. We did get a cave spawn, a couple cave spawns near the campsite, with some enemies prowling around. And then we have the rest of the forest that is all around. And this is a pathway that's leading to our final POI, which is the cave, which again has changed to log cabin. So this is similar to our other levels where the bear boss will live inside of this. They will enter it and fight the boss. Now in this particular level I did not close the player in, as it is a rather small cabin, but there are future plans to add something to keep that consistent from level to level. So going to the Great Mountain Trail, I am actually going to stop here for a second and get a little bit of stamina. We see the trail goes all the way up, leading to the cabin itself. This also happens on the other side of the hill. So you can see there is a trail that leads down to the road, so the player can get to this, or is rather led to this from two different areas. So we have the boss inside of the log cabin here. And certainly not in good shape to fight them, but yes. Okay, so that has showcased that. And then this is just the level design map, block out of everything that was intended. Going back to the tasks here, so everything has been demonstrated except for the barrier around the level. So we're going to do that. So we're going to turn directly around, try to go outside the level because I don't like the rules. It says turn back. We're going to keep going because I still don't like the rules, and you got lost in the woods. So that is working as intended. So we're going to go out of this now. We're going to showcase a couple of different tasks and then showcase some bugs. So again, I will not be showcasing the bug for the volume options because that is still something being worked on. Status does need to be changed. So firstly, let's showcase the task. Add the how to play overlay to the pause menu. To further communicate with the player, the pause menu should contain the how to play controls that are available from the main menu. This should include a clickable button in the pause menu and should function identically to the main menu. So launching the game again. We're going to observe the behavior of the how to play menu from the main menu. A lot of menu words. How to play. Here we go. Now, when we play, we're just going to go to Winter's Campsite again. I'm going to pause again. How to play. There we go. Same functionality that is now available in the game. So this was not a button that was available to the players prior to this build. Is now in. Okay. Adjusted the bear's throwing speed and L-Force Fire to be more beginner friendly. This was specifically because that level was meant as an onboarding tutorial level, so we wanted to make sure that the player felt it was a fair first encounter with the boss. So I'm going to hit play here to go to our forest fire level, and I'm going to attempt to get all the way to the end. So I will speed this part up until we get to the boss. Okay, as we continue up here, up the mountain, towards where the clearing is for the bear boss, all the way up here, so we should observe that the boss's beehive throw is much slower. There we go. Very, very slow. Very good. And then this does have a note here, adjusted the health to increase a bit, as well as the throw speed from 7,000 to 1,200 in Forest Fire. So that task is done. And then a final task that I took here was create an indicator for when the player takes damage. This should include a full screen element as well as an animation on the health bar to indicate damage has been taken. So for this, created a widget for this, added it to see health, which is our component to track health, and then added a health bar animation as well. So we can showcase this on the bear boss. We should notice the screen will flash red. There we go. And then if we notice the health bar, it will now play an animation when you get hit. There we go. Functioning as expected. Okay, now I'm going to transition to some bug fixes. Just things to showcase. The level select button does not function due to game instance not being properly set. Now this one is a little difficult to show because as far as our builds are concerned, we never pushed a build that involved it breaking, but we did push a build in which the level select was disabled. So that is what I'm going to showcase. We have currently disabled. Choose play instead. Again, this was disabled because our game instance was not set up. So I added the prog handler to the main menu level, connected the get game instance code, and to the level blueprint of the forest fire, re-enable the level select on the main menu. And in the owl, the player blueprint, it now checks to see if the level is L menu or L main menu before any other code is run on begin play. And this eliminates drawing of the HUD, so this is a separate bug that I'll go over. But in the current behavior, we've seen this several times as I've gone through things, but we do have the level select reactivated. But just to show here, level select, great, everything works. Just to showcase that it does indeed select the levels. Everything works there. Village ruins. And then finally, we go to forest fire. So, level select, back in the game, bug fixed. Next we have the static predators prey despawning when they should remain for the duration of the level. This was a simple fix. I'm not going to go through and showcase because it would be a considerable amount of time to watch, but it was a simple set to false, and we actually ended up removing the despawn mechanic from the game, so that is no longer there. So we removed here on Perforce, you can see we removed lifespan and despawn criteria from all prey, as well as the predators. So that it has been deprecated, no longer exists in the game. So that bug is done. Post-process volume. So this one we can showcase on that version 13 again. We're going to show that the post-process volume, or rather the lighting in the forest fire level, is not controlled, so it becomes very black when the player navigates to an area where natural light cannot reach, and activating the exposure behavior set default by the engine. So loading in, we can already see it's really, really dark, and it's starting to lighten up here. We go into an area where the camera thinks that we are not in natural light. See, it's changing. So it goes very dark, brightens back up. So that is the bug behavior. Looking at our current build again. Click play. Now the look of this is something that Paul, the other team member, has done as far as why it looks the way that it does, but we can still notice that that behavior no longer exists. So if we were to go somewhere, eliminate the light, it's still light. So that bug is fixed. And then just to show the work log here, added post-process volume and default exposure. So this one, the spawn handler in the forest fire is placed incorrectly. This was simply just lifting up the actual object itself in the level, but this did cause the caves and the burrows that the predator and prey spawn from to look straight up into the sky rather than in their intended orientation. So we will take a look at that quickly here. And I will fast forward to get to this part. Okay, so moving into our area to showcase the spawn handler, we can see the caves are pointing straight up in the air, as well as the burrows. So this was a very simple fix to just move the spawn handler up a little bit. And this can actually be showcased in really any level, any new level in the game. That the behavior, when it does hit the appropriate terrain and it does not hit anything else that it should not collide with, we can see that the caves do spawn in the correct orientation. Find a cave. There we go. So they are in the correct orientation. They are not spawning directly up in the sky. That is a different bug that I will be dealing with next week, but they are in their correct orientation. So in addition to that, since we are here, they would also, looking at another bug here, the spawner tends to spawn in areas that it shouldn't. So I'm going to do this backwards. I'll show the current behavior, and then I'll go backwards to the previous behavior. So technically, this one does check. So it's something I'm going to have to adjust volumes for. But the center of this object is outside of this box, and it's just clipping out. But nothing else is hitting the burrows. The caves are not going into the road proper. Looking at the previous behavior, I'm going to go to version 16 here, which is just a step before we had implemented a volume to check to make sure that it is not an area that we do not want the spawner to spawn things. So we will go to village ruins here, as we have a river that should not be spawning some of the spawners. So we can see already that it did decide to spawn these right in the river. So this is the bug to showcase. This is not intentional. It should not happen. Another one that spawned right inside the river here. Okay, and then we will go to the same level in the current build, which again is village ruins. We'll show that there are no more spawns inside the river. Now, again, because of the random nature of our game, I do have to keep saying that it is difficult to show this in a consistent way, but the spawner functionality has been fixed, so now that there is a volume that overlaps this, so the spawn points, the caves, and the burrows can no longer spawn on top of this area. That is a bug fixed. Okay, so when pressing tab to lock on, the stamina bar is selected. So this was a simple fix to show that the stamina meter was focusable in the main HUD. Just checking a box to fix that behavior. When starting the game, the splash screen shows the player's HUD. So this should be demonstratable in, I believe, build 14 here. Yes, so we have the HUD that's showing up on the splash screen as well as that. Okay, that is not intended behavior, obviously. We're going to go to version 17 and no more HUD. So that bug is fixed. To quit. As I said, I'm not going to showcase that because it is still working. And Bobcat does not move towards the tree as intended. So this one will be difficult for me to showcase because I did not actually create the Bobcat. That was teammate Paul. I did go in and help with this bug. So I won't be able to show the previous behavior. I don't have a build with a Bobcat in it where this bug was active, but I can show the current behavior to show that it does indeed move towards the tree as intended. This is something within a task that needed fixed, so I will open up the new build. And I will showcase this in the toy box level, and we should see the Bobcat go towards trees inside the level. Okay, so we have a tree here. The bear boss, they're going to be obnoxious. So we can see that they are attempting to go to a tree. We should also see them. They can see me right now. They have a very, very large cone of vision. So we can see they are going towards this tree now. It's great. And then they're going to attempt to go back to this tree. So what the behavior does is it is selecting a random tree in the level and going towards it as an attempt to try to climb the tree. So that functionality is now back. They do pick a random tree in the level to go to. And that bug is fixed. Okay, that is all of the items I have to showcase. Thank you very much for watching.
Hi, my name is Noah Anderson, and this is my Sprint 1 check-in for all my JIRA tasks completed this sprint. So I'll go ahead and launch the project here from Perforce. This is Team Neptune Shark. Alright, Bravebird Studios. We're gonna, for most of this, we're gonna be in the toy box so I can demonstrate the mechanics that I focused on during this sprint. So let's start with the first one here. We'll open up JIRA. Okay, first one. I want the player to have as a player, I want to have a shield ability. Okay, this will allow the player to activate a shield ability and take less damage for a given time. And there's a bunch of subtasks that we can go through to see if we completed that task. Okay, first thing, create an ability that dampens the damage that players take. Player must equip first with a number key, and then the player gains his shield with right click if the ability is selected. Okay, let's check those out first. So here we have in the bottom left corner, these are our abilities. And with the number keys, you see we can toggle between these abilities. Okay, so the shield one is here. This is number 2. So if we have it highlighted like it says, and we right click, there we go. The player turns metal and the ability has been activated. Check. They can only use this ability if they have enough. Okay, so right now we have 3, or I just used 1, I have 2 left. If I use again, I only have 1 left. If I use again, it's out. And now if I try to use again, you can't see because the effect is still there, but it won't work. I'll show again once that repopulates. Okay, player turns metal when shield is active. Check. Player loses the shield after 15 seconds. Check. And here, if I try to right click, I do not regain the ability. I'm going to relaunch so we get the ability back. Okay, next up. Create a UI for the shield ability. Shield is grayscaled when not active, and shield is highlighted when selected. Okay, so the shield here, when I use it, you can see that the one that was used became grayscaled. So check there, and then when shield is highlighted when selected, you can see the yellow highlight next to it as I toggle. The shield becomes highlighted when it's selected. Okay, player can only hold a few of these abilities. We just demonstrated that. They only have 3 that they can use. Okay, player loses the ability when they use it. Check. Add UI text to explain the shield. This is in the upper left corner. As I toggle between these, you can see the different text that show. And for the shield here, it says right click to become metal and take significantly less damage. Player gains the ability when killing a certain prey or predator. Okay. In this game, all these abilities are given to the player when they kill a certain prey or predator. In this case, for the metal ability, that's going to be on killing one of the coyotes, which I'll demonstrate here. We can also demonstrate how the shield works. So if right now I have 100 health. If a coyote comes and attacks me, okay. Oh, I got 2 bites there, down to 50. So if I turn on my metal, I'll still take damage, but it will be significantly decreased. If they attack me now, it only is dealing just a little bit of damage to me. And if I eliminate a coyote, you'll notice that I just gained a metal ability back. I'll gain 1 more so you can see I get back up to 3. Now I'm back up to 3. So that's how you gain the metal ability. Okay, so check on that. And the player loses the ability after they use it. Ding. The player doesn't have it anymore. Check, check, and check. On to the next task. Alright, this next one here is for another ability. As a player, I want to have a Scream ability. Here, this will allow the player to activate a Scream ability and freeze enemy movement for a given time. Okay, so this is another ability. It's activated the same way. We're going to create a large sphere that appears on ability use, and it only happens again if the player has the ability selected, and it's going to stun all prey and predators by the Scream. Okay, let's test that out. So let's activate this Scream here. And let's go back to our coyote pin. That'll let us try this out here. Okay. So all the coyotes are going to come attack, but when I right click, you'll notice a sphere that appears in the radius of the Scream, and all the coyotes within that sphere will freeze their movement. So here they come attack, but I scream! And they're frozen. But only for a few seconds. Ah, and then they come back at me, which will fulfill the next criteria here, which we can see. Reactivate enemy movement after delay. Check. Add UI for Scream ability. Okay, we have the Scream ability there in the bottom left corner. It's that one with the owl. Image of the owl screaming. Set to grayscale if not active. You can see the same thing. That third one that we just used is now grayed out because we used it. Player gains this ability on killing a certain prey or predator. Same thing. The Scream in this instance is activated by a wolf, which is not in the toy box level, but I will demonstrate that in another level here. Here I've found a wolf, and I don't have any Scream abilities, but if I kill this wolf, you'll notice that I just gained one that I can use. There we go. And last but not least here, player can only hold, a player loses the ability after they use it. We just saw that, check. Player can only hold a few of these. They only have the 3. And the UI text to explain we'll see in the corner, as it tells them to right click to scream and freeze all enemies for 5 seconds. Alright, next one we're going to deal with our range attack. As a player, I would like to be able to range attack my enemies. This will allow the player to launch a feather spread in flight and deal damage to enemies at range. Let's see here. Okay, add a toggle range mode. Aim feather attacks toward a locked on enemy. Move the feathers towards the chosen enemy and deal damage to the enemy on impact. We'll have a delay for the feather attack, and the player can only attack from flight. Okay, let's check this out. So here, over the abilities, you see combat mode is set to melee, and press Q to toggle. That's going to toggle me between range and melee. Now, if I'm ranged and I'm on the ground, I'm still going to do my melee attack because I'm not midair. If I am midair and I switch to range, I now throw 3 feathers in a bit of a shotgun spread. Okay, check. Now we also said they had to lock on, attack the enemy that we are locked onto. So let's head on over to the coyotes to test this out. If I lock onto this coyote and fire the feathers, you'll notice that they all home in on the coyote that I'm locked onto. And I can try to click as fast as I can, but there is a 2-second delay between each time I can throw the feathers. We can see that it's dealing damage to the enemies on impact, and the players can only attack from flight. Okay, so that is our range attack. Next up here, as a player, I would like a Berserker mode ability. Okay, this will allow the player to activate a Berserker ability, which will deal more damage for a given time. Okay, this will turn the player red to indicate we are in Berserker mode. Allow the player to fire feathers without a delay. The Berserker mode only lasts 15 seconds. And if you use it, you lose it. Okay, let's go check those out. So here, to get Berserker mode, you first have to be locked on to an enemy. Here's Berserker mode, it's number 3. And if we turn it on, the player glows red. And now we can fire feathers as fast as we want. This will allow us to deal far more damage than we could otherwise. It should only last 15 seconds and then it will stop. And that's the end of my Berserker mode. And you'll notice that we lost one of those as it turned gray. Alright, let's check back in on the task. Okay, if you lose it, add UI for the Berserker mode. We saw the image for it. Add UI text to explain Berserker mode. As you can see, if I'm selected Berserker mode in the corner, right click to go into Berserker mode to deal extra damage and throw feathers as fast as you can. Alright, check. Highlight UI when selected. Same thing here, we can see that when Berserker mode is selected, there's the yellow highlight to indicate that that's the one that we are on. Alright, next. UI's grayscaled. If they don't have it, we can see that it disappears and the ability is gained on killing a prey or a predator. In this case, the Berserker mode is gained by killing one of the owls. So right now here, I'll just get rid of both of them. I don't have any Berserker modes right now. If we go to the owls, and oh, they're dodgy. If we're able to kill, I'll kill them both here. We kill both owls. Now if I go lock onto an enemy again, you'll see I have 2 Berserker modes back. Alright, that's the end of Berserker mode. Last but not least, as a player, I would like to have a Feather Tornado ability. This will allow the player to activate a Feather Tornado ability, which will allow the player to launch a spread of feathers at their enemies. Okay. Create an object that spawns a multitude of feathers. Launch the feathers in multiple directions when fired. Again, player loses this ability on use, and they can only hold a few of them. They gain it the same way. Okay, let's check out the feather spread. This is another one that you have to be locked onto an enemy to use. So we'll go lock on to an enemy and see the feather tornado one that appears. If I press 1, I highlight it, and when I right click, I launch a spread of feathers that goes in every which direction. I just used all 3 of them there. Let's see what else. Okay, loses on use, we saw that. Player can only hold a few, they only have 3, and then they run out. Player gains ability on killing a prey or predator. In this case, the feathers are gained by killing a bobcat. So we'll go find a bobcat here, and I'll show you that I can gain the ability back. I believe there's bobcats over here. Here they are. If I kill a bobcat, then I lock back on, and you'll see that I have that feather ability back. Okay. Bear is loud. Okay. Then we have set to grayscale if they don't have one. We saw that. Highlight when the player has the ability selected and use the UI text to explain it. Again here, if we lock on to an enemy, when we select the feather tornado, you can see in the upper left corner, right click to launch a spread of feathers at your enemies. Alright. My name is Noah Anderson. That is the end of my Jira tasks for this sprint. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Paul Collis Miller from Neptune Shark, and I'm going to be going over the changes to our newest build. Okay, there we go. First off, let me pull up the Jira task list. In this task list, as a player, I want to understand the mechanics I have access to. I have a bunch of subtasks. First, we're going to be able to see the starting sequence. If you click play, there we go. The starting sequence on the tutorial level. I have also revamped the tutorial level with some new assets and some new post-processing, which is this subtask list right here. The next we were able to see is the create new flight tutorial. At the beginning of the game, after the sequence, see the player falls, time slows down, letting them know that if they click space, they can hover. If they go forward, time again will slow down, letting them know if you hold shift, you can go faster. If the player comes through this area, they will be greeted with the next tutorial on our subtask list. The lock-on tutorial, which is right around here. Time slows down. Click tab to lock on, and then you are able to learn the fighting/combat mechanics. If you continue on, we can go to a next list. This one is about your abilities, as seen right there. Go. You learn that this is the area that you can get abilities. You can get them from predators and prey. Then up here, you learn how to use those set abilities against these enemies. Currently, we have the dive on, so if you go up and then you dive down, boom, you can attack them. We're going to show the rest of the tutorial level. Right here, as you can see, it's all revamped. There is rain and newer assets all around. Okay, next we're going to be going over this task. As a player, I want to perch on branches to see where the boss is. Perching regains health, perching regains stamina. The regain is capped, and a boss indicator is shown. So, as you can see, let's lose some more health. Which I think this guy over here can help us with. There we are. Now if you go to a nearby perch, your health goes up to a point, your stamina also goes up to a point, and a line trace shows you the general direction that a boss is. So if we were to go, well, got another owl friend. If we go to this one, see, a line shows you the general direction of where the boss is, which is all the way up there. And yep, that is that task done. Okay, the next task list we will be talking about is the Bobcat. As a player, I want to fight a Bobcat. Uh, First off, we have the create Bobcat model, and the Bobcat sneaks around slowly. So there's a Bobcat right over there. As you can see, that's the model, and he is going around slowly. Okay, the next one is that the Bobcat is close, it will lunge at the player, and it will also deal damage to the player. If we find him, he's over here. So if you get close to him, he will start to attack you and deal damage. And then if you go next to a tree, it will allow him to climb up and he can attack you like that. Let's try to get a better look at that. Let's try to avoid aggroing the boss too, so we don't have to hear that guy. Okay, yep. If you are close enough to a tree, he will slowly start to climb the tree up after you. There you go. And that is demonstrated by this task list right here. The Bobcat can climb vertical spots. And now we will see if the Bobcat will lose health when I attack it. So if you were to attack it, the Bobcat loses health and he despawns. Now we can take a look to see if he is spawning in the AI spawner that we have. Okay, let's go over here and let's try to find a Bobcat. Let's see if one of these. Oh, I think that might be a Bobcat right there. Yep, there we go. A Bobcat, as you can see, is added to the spawner. I was beaten by nature, but the Bobcat was there, so the Bobcat is added to the spawner. One of the bug fixes that I've done is that the nest interact should be on E. Previously it was on 2. Now if you go up to a nest, you can see that you click E and you will nest. Another one of my bugs was that flying while not clicking input should move the player. So before, if you clicked shift to fly but didn't click WSA or D, then the player did not move at all. To fix this, I just got rid of the need to click WASD. So now just holding shift allows you to fly. And you move around by your mouse.
All right. Hello, my name is Robert Johnson, and I am here to go over the sprint for what I accomplished this month. So here we have the main menu. Now, to give some context, I personally did not get a chance to work on the game itself due to my moving situation. However, I was able to work on playtesting, which is what I'm going to go over in this video, talking about the things that I found and the things that were fixed and the things that I worked on to help the team get a better acquainted with these bugs. So the first one, controls on the main menu. So the biggest thing, the options, music volume and the sound effects volume would tend to, so if I apply them and then back, they save. However, they save, which is good. When I go into the game, nice little intro, and kind of some other stuff, which I can go over. If I go into the game, pause, and I go to options, they did not save at one point. So let's just do this, apply, and those were the settings I had back at the main menu. Now, they are supposed to save. Might be a bug. Another bug that I will have to report. They saved it during the editor, but this is one of the things that I'm going in to test, and I will then give feedback accordingly to the team. But this is just a general idea as to what is kind of the issue here. It was fixed in the editor window, however, it appears not to be working right now. But this is just another thing that I will go in and update in Jira and Confluence, so that way my team knows and we can get ahead. So the other thing is the lighting auto adjusts. When you first entered the game, the lighting would auto adjust. Now this is the current lighting that we have going for us. Obviously this may have to be updated at some point, and we need to get either night vision or a little bit more lighting, because it feels really dark and gray, and although it's not bad, it just could use some work. But that's something that we'll be looking at. The next thing is a controls page. So how to play. We did not have that at one point, and it was just only on the main menu, and then obviously if you don't remember, you wouldn't be able to know. So this is good because we can look at the different abilities and stuff like that. Generally speaking, this is pretty straightforward. It's on the main menu as well. However, it was originally not here in the pause menu. The only options in the pause menu were the resume, back to main menu, and options and quick game. There was no how to play. So that definitely helps. One of the issues that were fixed. The spawn handler for the wolves and predator and prey. The glide ability has been fixed as well. There was an issue with some of the speed and some of the other issues. And text for tips and tricks has also been fixed a bit. Little buggy, but that'll be worked on. And then here, this nest used to be set for the 2 key. It is now set for the E key and will disappear as needed. So I can't just continually press it, I don't believe. I believe that was fixed. Let me just remove some stamina here. And go back in. Yep, it's gone. I can't interact with it anymore. But let's go over here. So, wolves. The biggest thing with this was that you couldn't really tell what some of this stuff was. And let's go here. I'm not sure why I slowed down. Another reason why this is a work in progress. But it'll be something that I update accordingly. I didn't mean to exit out of there. And each of these tasks are documented and looked into. So, because I didn't really work on anything in the main level due to my move, I didn't get a chance to really do anything for the level. My main goal was to make sure that playtesting is done, looked at, and fixed. So that is some of the things that I have worked on to try and get things better acquainted. My team did go ahead and fix a couple things. But let's go into back to main menu. Hope that doesn't quit. Nope. So that is some of the things that I worked on, and here is the how to play. I did go ahead and update the Jira and Confluence accordingly to then get everything up and running correctly. And the way that I would test something, I would take whatever build we have currently set. Some of my team members would take notes, showing me what it is they worked on and things like that. And then I go in, whatever build it is. And I think the last build I worked on was version 0.13, which is 0.0.13. This is version 0.017, which is the one that we're going to work with here. I go in, I test an ability like Glide, and I would go in and, take notes on it and then update Confluence and Jira accordingly, depending on how, things are either broken or working or bugs or anything like that. And then update the Confluence page as needed. So that was my role. I wish I could showcase more, however, it's just I didn't work on anything. But that is what I have done. Confluence and Jira will be updated accordingly. And thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Trey Davis, and we're going to be going over everything I did during this current sprint. So as you can see, we're opening up the project from the P4V. See, it says Bravebird Studios. Most of this is going to be done within the toy box. Give me 1 second to adjust the volume, just that way it's not too loud. Okay. That way I don't have to compete with the volume. So for the most part, we're going to be inside the toy box level, just so I can show some of the work that was done in here. And let's go ahead and go over to Jira. So as we can see in Jira, we say I have a task that says, as a player, I want a level that showcases all the game mechanics. This is our toy box. And inside of here, we say add a movement section to toy box, add a section for player attacks, add a section for different predator types, add a section for different prey, and then so we'll go through those real quick first. So when we go into Jira, or go into our level, we can see we have our level mechanics, our player and movement mechanics, and our AI. So when we go over here, we can see on the AI side, we have a line full of different AI predators that are on the red side. And we have a line full of different AI prey that are on the blue side. We'll kind of dive more into this in just a second. And then we head back over here. We have all of the player and movement mechanics on this gray wall. Each one is separated by a different little toy box or sandbox level. And then we have our level mechanics along this wall that are all going to be in green. So let's go ahead and head back to Jira. So as we can see, add a section for different prey, we have that. Add a section for different predator types, have that. Add a section for player attacks, that's going to be under the player movement and mechanics. And then add a movement section for the toy box, again, same place. And then add a section for different level mechanics, again, we have that. So we have a section for the boss and the egg bomb. So let's go over these two real quick. So for the boss, here is the big bear boss. And then a section for the egg bomb. That's going to be in the player mechanics. So if we go down this way, and we see that it says egg bomb. So we have a little section for the egg bomb. And then let's go ahead and go back to Jira. And then we can see we want a section for the object pickup and for the feather attack. So let's go ahead and look at those two. Oops. So let's see. It's going to be down this way more. So here's the feather attack one. We have the combat mode and lock on, which we'll get to in a second. And then we have the object pickup. And as we can see, when we go into any of these rooms, we can see a little signs that tell you how to do it. It kind of walks the player through each of the mechanics. These rooms were built not only for players to kind of test out some things during testing, but these rooms were also built for our players or our designers to also have the ability to test where they want to test and to make sure that there's no bugs and errors in a lot of the things that are going on. As we can see, the owl's head is now reversed back the wrong way. It's still an error that we are working through. Let's go ahead and head back to Jira. So as we can see, we had the feather attack, the ability swap, and the combat mode selection all in that little one. We want a slipstream section and a coyote predator section. So let's go ahead and look at that. Alright, so the slipstream is going to be over here inside of the level mechanics section. So as we can see, when we go over here to the slipstream, we can see there's a slipstream that pushes the player, and the player is being pushed along one way with it, and then it goes inside the other slipstream and gets pushed along the other way. So we can say check for that one as well. And then we wanted to show the coyotes first real quick. So let's go ahead and take a look at the coyotes. Here's the coyote room. And as you can see, as soon as we walk in here, it looks like the coyotes might have despawned. Give me 1 second. Let's go ahead and we will stop this build real quick. And then we will open it back up from P4V. Alright, level select, back to the toy box. So, let's go to the Bobcat. not the bobcat, the coyotes. Now, as you can see, when we head in here, there's a bunch of coyotes just running around, running rampant. And they will attack the player the second the player comes down. And as you can see, they are very fast to react to the player. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the toy box again, and then let's go ahead and look at Jira. So we have the section for the coyotes. We have an owl section, a falcon section, and a bobcat section. So let's go ahead and head back here. Alright, so as we can see, as we fly down past this line, we have the bobcat section right here, which is where the bobcats will attack the player and they will practice doing their tree climbing, and this is where the person who's actually building the bobcats can test out all the functionality. And then we have the coyotes, which we just showed you. We have the great horned owl, this little room with 2 great horned owls in here that will attack the player. And then we have the falcon inside of here as well. So as you can see, the falcon will start chasing the player down as soon as the player gets inside of here. And the falcon's job is to do what it's doing right now and kind of pin the player. So now we'll go ahead and close this down and open it back up. Actually, even better yet, we can just do this instead. Oops. So let's go back to the toy box again, and then we'll head back to Jira. So we showed all the owl, the falcon, the bobcats, all the different predators. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 2 newest additions to the, or I guess the newest addition to the toy box as well. And that's going to be the black-capped chickadee. So let's go over here to the prey section along this blue wall. And we can see outside of the blue wall, it says black-capped chickadee. Left click to eat. So we go inside of here. We see the black-capped chickadees are in here. Then we can attack them. And as we can see, come here, little chickadee. Hold on. Let me go grab one of the pickup objects. It looks like the attack is having a hard time attacking. So, we can go over here. And go inside of here. We'll just pick up one of these real quick. Oop. And we'll go over to the black-capped chickadee. And as you can see, once we kill them, we can do damage right there. And then we can see that our stats go up from killing them. So new talent attack damage is now at 40. So we have a little testing area for the black-capped chickadee, for the chipmunks, for all the little predator and prey. Let's go back to Jira. And then the last task on this one says add text to all the door frames of the sections. So we go over here and we can see that every section has text on it to let the player know and the playtester know what's going on inside each room and what each room is. And then let's go ahead and head back to Jira one more time for this level, that is. So as we can see, we hit all the criteria for the showcasing. There was one more task I decided to start during the sprint just so because I had a little extra time left over, and so I went on to trying to adjust the L_flying level. And inside of here we can see that here are a bunch of the tasks. The only task that that I've started so far and finished was the adding the farm and the forest fire. Again, this was just because I had a little extra time on my belt, so I wanted to make sure I got some tasks in here. So let's go ahead and head back to the main menu, and then we will go to level select, and then we will go well, it looks like for some reason that one is not even in here. Let me go to our source. I hate to revert to the source. But I believe that we left the elf flying level out from the level selected for this sprint, only for the fact of it wasn't fully finished and it had just kind of been started. But let's go ahead and take a peek at the elf flying level. And we'll take a look at that one through the source code, just because it didn't quite make it to the final cut product. So we'll open this up. And bear with me as this may take a moment. And while this loads up, we can go ahead and take a look at some of the JIRA tasks associated with it. So in the elf flying levels, we want to block out all the POIs. I want to add a farm as one of the POIs, a cave boss POI, forest fire POI, lumber yard, a dig site, an abandoned mansion, add the tree of life POI, add a bridge, add a forest, add tips and hints that the player will encounter around the map. This one is already started but is not completed yet. Add slipstreams to the level, add prey to the level, predators as well. So we want to set predator and prey despawn to false. And real quick, we just had this opened up, so let's go ahead and go into the, where are you at? The flying level. Alright. I'll go ahead and take a look real quick back at the JIRA tasks. We wanted the abandoned mansion, the tree of life, the bridge, the forest, some tips around the map, like I said, we kind of got started on. Slipstreams to the level, predators and prey, which will be the last thing, and then setting the predator and prey to should despawn false. This is because they will automatically despawn, so this is a big one. And then fixed player clipping in the ground. So far the ones that we've gotten done on this level is we added the farm POI, we added the forest fire POI, and then we kind of blocked out some other POIs, as well as getting started on the setting some tool tips around the map. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick. As we can see, we got the everything kind of blocked out, so we can see where the haunted mansion is going to be, where the forest is going to be. All the dark green blocks are going to be forested areas, and then the white blocks are going to be different POIs. So we have like the lumberyard POI, the dig site POI. We have the haunted mansion POI, tree of life, the bridge, and so we have the entire level for the most part where the POIs are going to be blocked out. We can see over here we have the farm POI. Oops, my bad. Sorry. We have the farm POI over here with a couple of little farmhouses, some greenhouses, and then some chopped down trees. Over here we have the forest fire POI. This is where the player will actually start from. So when the level starts, the player starts off in this little forest fire. And we have some of the tooltips that we had talked about. You can see we fly through here. There's a little forest fire that has a couple of pop-ups. And then once we get out to here, this is going to be where all of the different POIs are going to be. Let's go over to the farm real quick. We'll take a little look at the farmland. And as we can see, we have the entire level surrounded by mountains and a nice little waterfall over there, which is about the area of where the boss battle is going to be. Down this way, we can see now we're inside the farmland. We have these houses, the greenhouses. We have a big crop growing field right here, as well as some crops. A little bit of lumber over here. But yeah, this is currently the farmland. And that is everything I've worked on so far during the sprint. Let's go ahead and head back to JIRA one more time. So we can see that we finished the, as a player, I'm on the level that showcases all the game mechanics. We finished all of this stuff. And then as for the newer one that I had, because I had a little extra time left over, we got some of this started on and worked on as well. And this one's probably going to go into the next sprint, and this is probably what I'm going to finish up during the next sprint as well. Thank you for your time. Hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful night, and I will catch you guys on the next one.